A bad CVT does not fail politely. It turns a cheap used car into an expensive mistake fast. Dealers sold drivers smooth, efficient driving, but the wrong model can need a transmission worth more than the car. Today, we are calling out 7 CVT cars to avoid. Number 1 still fools buyers every day. Number 7. Honda Fit/Jazz CVT, mainly 2015 Fit CVT. Small Hondas usually feel safe, simple, and reliable, which is exactly why the 2015 Fit CVT deserves a closer look. We are not attacking every Fit here. Earlier US Fits used manuals or conventional automatics, and those can be solid little cars. The warning is mainly the third generation 2015 Fit, with the 1.5-liter 4-cylinder and CVT, especially any car without proof that recall or software work was completed. Honda recalled affected cars because the CVT control software could create high hydraulic pressure and stress the drive pulley shaft. That is not a minor comfort complaint. A broken pulley shaft can mean loss of acceleration or front wheel lockup, and that turns a cheap city car into a safety problem. On a test drive, a bad one may shudder from a stop, hesitate before moving, vibrate under light throttle, flare RPM without matching road speed, or feel like it is slipping without real gear changes. If warning lights show up after the car warms, do not let the seller blame Honda personality. That is nonsense. Repair cost can range from $3,000 to $5,500, depending on whether it is used, rebuilt, or dealer replacement. That number can vary the whole value of a small hatchback. Inspection is basic but strict. Verify recall completion, ask for CVT fluid history, test stop-and-go launches, drive it fully warm, scan for transmission codes, and feel for shudder. Also, reverse slowly, then pull forward gently, because delayed engagement often shows itself when the seller hopes you will rush. A normal used car can survive cosmetic bruises. A questionable CVT cannot survive guessing, hoping, or seller storytelling. What should you buy instead? A Fit manual, an earlier Fit with a conventional automatic, a Toyota Yaris automatic, or a Scion XB automatic. The Fit is useful, but usefulness does not erase transmission risk. The next one is a cheap crossover where the CVT can make a small SUV feel like a financial trap. If this straight CVT talk helps you, subscribe. We show reliable cars, costly transmission traps, and simple checks before you buy. Number 6. Mitsubishi Outlander Sport CVT. Cheap crossover value gets tempting until the transmission starts whining louder than the bargain. The Mitsubishi Outlander Sport CVT looks practical on paper, especially older high-mile examples with low asking prices, but those are exactly the ones we inspect hardest. Depending on year and trim, you are looking at a 2-liter or 2.4-liter 4-cylinder paired with a CVT. The engine is not the main drama. The transmission is where the money can disappear. Many complaints and shop stories center on cars with ignored fluid service, city heat, delayed acceleration, and higher mileage. A bad CVT may whine as speed rises, launch sluggishly from a stop, delay when shifted into drive, vibrate at highway speed, throw warning lights, feel weak under throttle, leak fluid, or smell burnt after a warm drive. That smell matters. Heat kills these units, and a short test loop around the block will not tell you enough. Repair costs can range from $3,000 to $6,000 depending on used, rebuilt, or remanufactured parts. That is brutal math when the values used are already low. If a $5,000 or $7,000 crossover needs a transmission, you did not buy cheap transportation. You bought a repair invoice with seats. Spend inspection money before purchase, not transmission money after, because these units rarely fail politely. The inspection checklist is simple. Warm test drive, slow launch test, highway acceleration, code scan, fluid service records, and no just needs a sensor fairy tale. Drive it in stop-and-go traffic, then on the highway, then back through slow streets. If it whines, shudders, flares, or feels lazier when hot, walk away. Safer swaps include a Toyota RAV4 with conventional automatic, a Honda CR-V automatic, a Mazda CX-5 non-turbo automatic, or a well-inspected Toyota Matrix if you need less cargo. Check service stickers, not seller memory, because CVT survival depends on heat control and fluid history. If the fluid smells burnt, the dipstick area looks tampered with, or the car hesitates after a long idle, assume the low price is hiding a larger bill. Budget buyers need boring behavior, not excuses. The Outlander Sport can look like a cheaper crossover shortcut, but a weak CVT turns that shortcut into a dead end. The next one is a Nissan crossover people bought for practicality, then learned what CVT heat can do. That is the whole used CVT rule here. Number 5. Nissan Rogue First Generation. Family buyers trusted the Rogue because it looked normal, practical, and harmless. But the first generation CVT story can get ugly fast. We are talking about 2008 to 2013 Rogue models with the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder and Nissan Jatco CVT, especially high-mile cars with no fluid proof, overheating complaints, or highway power loss stories. This is the type of used crossover that pulls people in because it is affordable, roomy enough, easy to find, and not scary at first glance. That is the trap. Transmission complaints often show up around higher mileage, and many owners report failures around the 120,000-mile range. A bad Rogue CVT can whine, hesitate, flare RPM, shudder, lose power after highway driving, go into limp mode on hot days, or feel like the engine is working hard while the car barely moves. That rubber band feeling is not charming. It is a warning. Repair cost often falls around $3,000 to $5,000, and rebuild quality depends heavily on the shop. That means a cheap Rogue can lose its whole value argument in one afternoon. On the test drive, get it fully warm. One more street check. Bring the car back to a stop after highway speed, then pull away gently. Weak CVTs often behave better cold and reveal the ugly stuff when hot. If it feels tired, surging, or delayed after heat soak, that is the transmission talking. I want hills if possible, highway acceleration, stop and go traffic, and a scan for CVT temperature, ratio, or pressure codes. Ask for CVT fluid service proof. If the seller says the fluid is lifetime, treat that as a red flag, not reassurance. Also, listen with the radio off. Whining under load, delayed reverse, or shaking at low speed should stop the deal cold. What should you buy instead? A Toyota RAV4, automatic, a Honda CR-V automatic, the right Ford Escape, or even a Toyota Sienna if family space is the real reason you wanted the Rogue. A minivan may not look cooler, but it will not pretend a fragile transmission is a bargain. The Rogue is not dangerous because it looks broken. It is dangerous because it looks sensible. That is why buyers relax. Do not relax around a used Nissan CVT. The next one is not Nissan, and that is why buyers get surprised when the CVT warning still matters. Number 4. Subaru Outback/Legacy, 2010 to 2014. Subaru trust can make buyers blind because these Outback and Legacy years look practical, safe, and winter-ready. The warning is 2010 to 2014 4-cylinder cars with the 2.5-liter flat 4 and Lineartronic CVT, especially high-mile examples with towing, mountain driving, no fluid history, or shudder complaints. We are not talking about every Subaru ever built, and some 6-cylinder cars use different transmission setups, so keep the target tight. The problem is simple. All-wheel drive demand keeps resale strong, but the early CVT risk can still be expensive. Subaru extended CVT coverage on many models to 10 years or 100,000 miles, and that tells you the concern was serious enough to matter. A bad one may shudder under light throttle, hesitate from a stop, whine at speed, vibrate when warm, delay into drive or reverse, or surge instead of pulling smoothly. Repair cost can run $3,500 to $7,000, depending on used, remanufactured, or dealer replacement. That is painful when the seller still wants Subaru money. The test drive must be long. Start cold, shift through reverse and drive, then drive hills, highway, and stop and go traffic until the transmission is fully warm. Scan for stored CVT codes, verify any warranty work, and ask for fluid service records. Watch the tachometer during a gentle uphill pull. If RPM jumps but speed does not follow, that is not Subaru character. That is slip, heat, or control, trouble talking. Listen with the radio off, because CVT whine hides under road noise and tire hum. Check the service file for fluid changes, not just engine oil receipts. If the seller says Subaru fluid lasts forever, that is not reassurance. It is a clue. What should you buy instead? A carefully inspected Outback 3.6R, Toyota Venza, Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, or a later Outback with stronger records and no weird behavior. A good Subaru feels stable and confident. A weak CVT. Subaru feels like it is thinking too hard every time you ask for power. The next compact sedan is cheaper, but the transmission risk can hit even earlier. Subscribe if you want smarter used car picks without dealership smoke. We compare transmission risk, repairs, prices, and real ownership before you buy. Number 3. Nissan Sentra 2013 and newer early CVT cars. Cheap commuter sedans are supposed to save money, not hide a transmission bill that costs more than the car. The Nissan Sentra warning centers on 2013 to 2017 CVT models, especially high-mile cars with no proof of CVT repair, replacement, warranty work, or fluid service. Most use a 1.8-liter four-cylinder with Nissan's CVT, and the whole package looks harmless. Small sedan, good fuel economy, low price, easy parking. That is why buyers relax. Do not relax. Nissan issued warranty extension material for these Sentras, stretching CVT coverage to 7 years or 84,000 miles for affected cars, and the covered parts included the CVT assembly, internal components, seals, valve body, torque converter, cooler kit when needed, and software updates. That list is not small. It is the transmission's expensive heart. A bad Sentra CVT can jerk from a stop, delay takeoff, flare RPM, whine, lose power, flash overheating warnings, shudder at low speed, or rev while road speed barely catches up. Sometimes it behaves fine for the first few minutes, then gets warm, leisure, and uglier after traffic. That is why a quick loop around the block is useless. Repair costs often range from $3,500 to $5,000. That is brutal, because many used Sentras are not worth much more than that. The inspection needs heat. Drive it cold, then warm, then in stop-and-go traffic. Merge onto a highway, and watch whether the RPM rises without matching the pull. Do a slow parking lot crawl, stop, then roll back into throttle. If the car shudders or hesitates like it is deciding whether to move, keep looking. Scan for CVT codes, ask whether the transmission was replaced, and verify any warranty extension work with paperwork. Fluid records matter, but replacement records matter even more. Do not let the low odometer fool you either. Short city trips, heat, and stop-and-go use can be harder on these units than steady highway miles. A car with 80,000 rough miles can feel worse than one with higher miles and better service. The CVT has to prove itself during the drive, not in the seller's driveway. That is why patience matters. Cheap commuter cars are everywhere, but clean transmission behavior is not. If two Sentras look similar, buy the boring documented one, never the shiny gamble. Every single time, period. If the seller says, "It drives like every CVT," keep your wallet closed. Safer alternatives are the Toyota Corolla with a conventional automatic or manual transmission, the Honda Civic with a clean transmission history, the Mazda 3 with an automatic or manual, or the Hyundai Elantra with a conventional automatic. The Sentra is not dangerous because it looks scary. It is dangerous because it looks cheap, sensible, and normal. Normal-looking cars are how budget buyers get caught. The next one proves that a small SUV badge does not save you when the CVT underneath is the weak link. Number 2. Jeep Compass/Patriot CVT. Rugged styling can sell a soft transmission story, and that is the Jeep Compass and Patriot problem. These little Jeeps look tougher than ordinary compact cars, but many versions used a Jatco-style CVT behind a 2-liter or 2.4-liter four-cylinder, and that is where the trouble starts. The avoided focus is older high-mile Compass and Patriot CVT models, especially four-wheel drive examples with overheating, slipping, limp mode complaints, hill use, or weak fluid service. Buyers see the Jeep badge, roof rails, chunky stance, and low price, then assume it is a bargain small SUV. The transmission does not care about the badge. Underheat, hills, all-wheel drive load, and poor maintenance. Problems can show up as whining, delayed movement, jerking, vibration, poor acceleration, warning lights, a hot transmission smell, or limp mode after highway driving. Some owners describe the car feeling like it has power, then suddenly becoming lazier, weaker, and stuck in self-protection. That is not a quirk. That is a transmission trying to survive. Repair costs can run from $3,000 to $5,500, and that can exceed the logic of owning a cheap Patriot or Compass in the first place. Inspection is non-negotiable. Drive it fully warm on the highway, climb a hill if possible, listen for a rising whine, scan for transmission codes, check limp mode history, and demand fluid service records. Do not accept just needs a sensor unless a real shop has proven it. Also, test reverse, low-speed parking maneuvers, and hot restarts, because weak CVTs often behave differently after heat soak. Check the tires too. Mismatched cheap tires on an all-wheel drive vehicle add extra drivetrain stress, and that tells you the owner was cutting corners everywhere. Look underneath for leaks and rust, because these Jeeps are often bought cheaply, driven hard, and repaired late. What should you buy instead? Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, the right Ford Escape, a basic Toyota Matrix, or a manual Patriot, only if the rest of the vehicle checks out. A used Jeep with a questionable CVT is not a secret trail tool. It is a cheap-looking vehicle with an expensive, weak link. If the test drive feels delayed, noisy, or hot, walk away before the repair bill decides for you. And number one is the sedan that sold millions because it looked sensible, then trapped buyers with one expensive weak point. Number 1. Nissan Altima 2.5 CVT. Normal-looking sedans can hide the ugliest bills, and the Altima 2.5 CVT is the trap people keep buying. The danger window is especially 2013 to 2016, plus older high-mile CVT cars with no transmission history. Under the hood is Nissan's 2.5-liter four-cylinder, which is not the villain by itself. The problem is the CVT behind it. Nissan extended CVT coverage on affected Altima models to 7 years or 84,000 miles, and that alone should make a used buyer pay attention. A bad one may rev without pulling, whine under load, jerk at low speed, hesitate when hot, shudder during light throttle, or drop into limp mode after highway driving. If a seller says that is just how CVTs feel, slow down. That line has cost buyers thousands. Realistic repair cost often lands around $3,800 to $5,500, with dealer replacement near the high side. That is why this car becomes a money pit. Altimas are common, roomy, cheap, and easy to find, so buyers relax. Then the transmission starts slipping, and suddenly the savings between a cheap Altima and a better Camry disappear overnight. Inspect it cold and hot. Test highway acceleration, listen for the whine with the radio off, scan for CVT codes, ask if the CVT was replaced, and demand paperwork. No fluid records means no trust. Check how it behaves after heat soak. Drive it hard enough to merge, then slow down, stop, and pull away again. Weak CVTs often look fine cold, then get lazier, noisier, and more uncertain once heat builds. Do not buy the polished one. Buy the proven one, or skip it. I would rather buy a Toyota Camry 4-cylinder with a conventional automatic, a Honda Accord 4-cylinder, a Mazda 6 with a regular automatic, or a Ford Fusion 2.5 automatic. The Altima is number 1 because it is everywhere, and normal buyers keep falling into the same sensible-looking trap. Cheap is not cheap when the transmission is waiting to collect. If this saves you money, subscribe. We show reliable cars, costly transmission traps, and simple checks before you buy the wrong CVT. CVT inspection protocol. Never buy a used CVT car after a 5-minute drive. Start cold. Shift from park to reverse and drive, and feel for delay, clunk, or hesitation. Drive gently through neighborhoods, then test low-speed takeoff, parking lot crawling, and light throttle. After that, get it fully warm for at least 20 minutes with highway speed, stop-and-go traffic, and a hill if possible. Warning signs are whine, shudder, rubber band acceleration, delayed engagement, RPM flare, limp mode, burning smell, vibration, transmission lights, or stored codes. Ask for CVT fluid records, replacement receipts, warranty paperwork, and scan tool history. Lifetime fluid is not proof. If the repair costs half the car's value, walk away unless the transmission was already replaced with proof. A good CVT should feel smooth and consistent, not confused, slipping, or hot. Click the video on your screen next. We'll show automatic cars that avoid CVT pain. Subscribe for reliable picks, smarter buying, and fewer repair regrets.